Hello guys, this is Messy Workbench again. I just wanted to show you, I had told you guys what my procedure for diagnosing the saw was. I've got a 455 Rancher here. The customer brought back in May the 15th, but he made the mistake and dropped it off at my shop with no name or no number or no nothing. And I've gotten into the practice where if a unit comes to my shop and it's not labeled, or no one has called me and told me that it's not there and that it's here and it's theirs, I don't touch them until I hear from them. Well, I was over at the Somerville town the other day, and this gentleman was in a restaurant, and he came up to me and said, "Hey, the guys dropped off another saw. They dropped off a 390 like 2 days ago, and then they said there was I have a 455 Rancher there too." I thought, okay. I said, "So you were the one that brought it?" He said, "Well, one of the guys that worked for me dropped it off." Well, they dropped it off in the back porch with the orange chain, which was not on the unit, and I had no way to know whose it was. So I just pulled in the shop here, set it in the corner, and I thought, well, somebody will call or talk to me about it later, and I'll know whose it is and what needs to be done to it. He still couldn't remember, and that's been 3 months ago. He still couldn't remember what was wrong with it, but he does use it a lot, and he said that's one of his favorite saws. So I'm going to show you guys what I do for the initial checks for stuff when they're new like this. Okay, here's this 455 Rancher. It's very dirty. You can tell that. There's dirt all over it. And before I clean it up, I'm going to run my checks to it to see if it's worth working on. Because you can, and I've done this past John's Red 312072 the same way. And I just immediately jumped into and started cleaning up because the customer told me that all it needed was a broke spring replaced. I thought that's all it's going to need, so that's what I did. And after doing all this work, the thing wouldn't run. The unit wouldn't run. I worked on it effortlessly, and I did get to running, but it wasn't running to suit me. It wasn't running like it was supposed to. It either has an air leak or it's got a defective main jet in the carburetor. The carburetor's going to be replaced. But anyhow, I spent hours, probably 3 hours, cleaning it up 2 evenings after my work in the woods. Anyhow, we'll show you what to do. Here you go. Here's a 455 Rancher. It's cleaned. It's filthy. So the first thing you want to do is you want to check the fuel. Okay. I take the fuel cap off. Get rid of the fuel cap. And I have here a stainless steel bowl. Stainless steel bowls are awesome for this because you can see any and everything that's in your fuel. Set the bowl there. Pick up the unit. Dump the gas into the bowl. Doesn't seem to be too much in there, but it does have a real nice, pretty blue color about it. Okay. The gas has a cloudy look to it. That means there's water in it. So what I do here, I'm going to set the gas over here and put a cover on the top, so it will settle out. Now, you don't worry about your bowl, whether it's a little bit dirty or not. They could have some trash in it, but they are all going to have trash in them. Chainsaws are the world's worst for people fueling them up while they're in the woods working, while they're out cutting wood, what have you, whatnot, and it gets dirt in it. But the dirt's not going to hurt because you have a filter in it that catches that. But when you dump it out in this bowl, you're going to have some dirt in it, so don't worry about your bowl. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to move this junk out of the way. My bench is so messy, hence the name. So we're going to pull the filter out, and we are going to have a little wire thing I made here. Hand this thing in the shop. Got a little hook on it. You can bend it. You get into areas that you can't get straight and back out. Got this little hook on it, so I just reach down here and fish around and find it. There's a fuel line. Now you see this filter? It's not really, it's dirty. See how it's brown around the bottom? It's been laying around and rolling around. Now your fuel filter, when it begins to get plugged up, the first place you're going to notice it's really dirty is on the bottom here. It's going to turn black, literally turn black, to where you'll know that it's beginning to plug up. That part of the filter is getting plugged up, and so it's going to start working its way up here. This filter is not completely plugged off, but it definitely needs changed. Okay, and while I've got the fuel filter, I'm mashing on the fuel line. It feels pretty good. It's not real sticky, real soft, and it's not super hard. And then we're going to take a light and we're going to shine down in that tank and take a gander. There's still some water down there. I can see it floating around down the bottom. And so, but the fuel line looks okay. The tank's not that bad. I need to dump it out just a little more, and I will after a while once I get through the rest of this, okay? I don't want to use up any more time than I have to. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, we are going to run a crankcase pressure test on it. Now, it's going to take me just a minute to get ready for this, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to pause this video, and we'll do it, then we'll come right back to it, okay? See you in a bit. Okay, I'm back. I removed the top cover from the unit, and it's quite dirty, of course you can see. And then to run a compression test, I like to fasten up in a vise, and that way you can crank on them properly without smacking and slapping the saw around the compression tester. But in the process, I discovered something that will be interesting to you guys, because this I'm going to show you how to do something that not very many people know how to do. On the process of taking the clutch cover off, I discovered that the chain brake was set on the clutch cover. The bolts were not on, the chain bar wasn't on either. And when the chain brake gets set, after you've pulled it off, you can't get it back on. When you try to put it back on, you will end up damaging several things. Look how this, see how those corners have been dubbed off on this? Sometimes you can take and shove those on just as tight up as you can and gradually pull back and reset your chain brake. That's if it's still on the saw. You don't have to shove it on, but just put it on as far as you can. But I'm going to show you the best way to do this. What I like to do, I like to fasten them up in a vise. You can see it back here. Right here it is in my vise. And fasten up so you can hold it. And Husqvarna has recently started letting this particular chain and bar wrench with their units go with their units. Now I want to show you something. Look at this end here. This is made onto it. See those little teeth like the things on it there? That is what that's for. That's for to help you to release the chain brake. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Right here's the unit. Right here's the chain brake, okay? Now if you look, I'll hold this up right here. If you look, you see these, see this little pinwheel type thing here? That's your chain brake. What you do, you stick this in here and marry it up to that, and you can pull down and release it. I'm going to fasten it up to this vise so it stays in a better position. Then you take this thing and you stick it in there, marry it up to that pin, hold it, shove it in, and pull it back ever so slightly. Did you hear that click? The chain brake has been reset. Now it will go on the saw because the chain band has been opened up to where it's supposed to be. Now it'll go on the saw to where it won't be no problem. Now I'm not so certain that that was the reason why I got the unit, because they took it apart and couldn't get back together. Maybe. But I don't know. I don't want to cut corners here, because if I do, I will regret it. But I wanted to show you that briefly, real quick. So that's how you do that. Now you can take them. I used to take a wrench. I used to take like a little wrench and stick in here like this and kind of rock it backwards, kind of creel it backwards like that, and it would snap. But I'm telling you folks, this is the only way. This tool is the only way. Go to your Husqvarna store and say, hey, I want one of those saw wrenches that have the chain brake releasing paws on it, and get you one. I made one actually. Before it's even come out, I took and ground one out to fit. And then I was at the store the other day, and they pulled this thing, and this was in with the saw. And said, hey, where'd that come from? That's awesome. So get you one. It'll save you a lot of headaches in the future. But anyway, getting back to what we're doing here. Remove the top cover, remove the air filter. Now we're going to and lash it up. And I have little, you don't have to put a chain on them. I have some nuts. I have an oversized nut to slide onto the stud, and then a regular nut to tighten it down. Just hold the bar on so that I can fasten it into the vise, tighten the vise down, remove the spark plug, and make sure your decompression valve is out. Then you get your compression tester. I keep them underneath here. And thread your compression tester in there. While you got it off, it's good to take a gander down inside. It looks good. I don't see any scars on the back of the cylinder. The piston looks decent. So I'm expecting pretty good compression. So we thread this in here like this. It's not stripped out. Thread this in there all the way. There's a little rubber gasket. This is a Husqvarna compression tester. There are different kinds out there. But I like to turn it until the gasket makes contact, and I like to turn it towards facing me. And what you want to do, you can actually, Husqvarna recommends that you fully actuate the trigger. That's to allow as much air in it as possible. And so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to take my left hand and crank it. I like to go 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, looky there. 130 pounds of compression. Maybe, let's take it out and get a little closer look at that. I'm not holding my phone, I've got it in a bracket, so. It's got 130 pounds compression. That's really, really good. My gauge is leaking off just a little, but that's excellent. So it's got great compression. And with me, hold on me, I take a felt pen and I write on top of the cylinder 130 PSI. Now we've got the plug out. The very next thing we're going to do, we're going to run since the plug's out, it makes it a whole lot easier to crank, reduce your pressure. I'm going to run a ignition test. Okay. Open up my box here. Here's the ignition tester I have. This is Husqvarna brand. Sorry, it's not running solid. You can get different ones. Eka makes one. I've had this for a long time. I can't remember how long I've had it. So you see over here you have a little scale. Okay. You're supposed to adjust that to 6 millimeters. That is the longest gap. That right there. That is the longest gap that you're supposed to have. If your ignition will make a 6 millimeter jump, and it needs to be a nice, pretty blue violet color, you've got it. Let's try it and see. What you do, you fasten your spark plug wire onto there, make sure the switch is on, and then you ground it with this clip. Okay, here it's grounded. Grab hold of it, make sure it stays that way. Grab hold. I like to just cup my hand underneath. I wish you guys could see that. Sorry, I went the wrong direction. It should have a nice violet blue color. That it does have, and it's making the 6 millimeter jump. So we know now that this unit has, and I like to rate the ignition on a scale of 1 to 10. So what I do, I take and put down a little lightning bolt, like so, and I rate it from 1 to 10. It's not an N, that's a lightning bolt. Let's see, 10 being the best. So that's got a good one. I'm going to give it a 9 because it made the 6 millimeter jump. You had to crank it a good bit to get it to fire, but it's there. So now we know. We know that this saw has got good compression, 130 pounds, excellent compression. It has got a good ignition, and it's dirty, but it's rebuildable. It's ready to work. So it's worth the effort to fix. Now I will probably take on the task of maybe cleaning it up just a little, because I know that you know run. Actually, what I'm probably going to do is see if I can get it to start and run. And if it'll start and run, we got it whipped. We just got to find out exactly. We'll do a tune-up to it, spark plug, fuel filter, clean it up, start it, see if it'll run. Let's see if it runs first, okay? You hold on just a second, and I'll get set up till we can try to run it. Okay, I put fuel in it, and I've primed. I've also put a new plug in. I would like to risk trying an old plug on Saw, because, man, the problem of insurmountable, what they call us. But anyhow, I put a new spark plug in it, and the next thing you do, you want to prime your prime. Make sure it's working. And this prime bulb has got a lot, really cloudy, a lot of discoloration, so it's definitely going to get changed. The fuel line seems to be okay. Okay, I have primed it. I tell folks, prime it at least 10 times. Won't hurt it, won't flood it, because it's not going to flood the cylinder out. It's simply sucking gas from the filter through the fuel line up to the carburetor, circulating it through the carburetor, then it's pushing the excess right back into the tank. You're not going to flood it. Punch as many times as you like. I like to do it at least until it fills up, or semi-fills up. Okay, we are ready to try it. Pull your choke out, turns on the switch, activates the choke. Let's give her a crank and see what she does. I like to do this. It kind of helps prime things. Ooh, did you see that? Did you hear that? What, third crank? Fourth, maybe? Shuts the choke off. Do not touch the trigger. Your fast slide is still engaged. We got a winner here. It's looking to me like all it needs is cleaned up and tune up. I'm trying to keep my secrets here. I charge $75 to do a tune-up. The tune-up consists of what we did here to diagnose it and clean it up, remove all the external parts, start, side, clutch cover, blow all the dust and dirt off of it, get it nice and clean. And I put a new spark plug in it, that's included in the price. And I put a new fuel filter on it. Those are included. The air filter is not included, because air filters for these saws run anywhere from a weed eater air filter will run you a couple bucks. These things here run you about 30. If it's cleanable, I'll clean it. I will pull it apart and spray some. I've gotten in trouble for this. Spray some. You can use carbon choke cleaner, but I like to use ethyl ether starting fluid. Use starting fluid. It will really clean. And what you want to do, you want to soak this and you want to pull it apart. Now these filters will kind of apart. See this little tab right here? Just put your screwdriver in there and pry it like that. She pops right apart. That is simply a cover. There's a filter there. That filter doesn't look too bad inside there. So what you want to do, you want to soak this with the start fluid and take you some compressed air. That's where I get in trouble. They told me that's why you don't want to use compressed air, because you're blowing fibers apart. Well, if you don't have a fuel air filter, you don't have access to one, it will get you by. Spray and then blow the air this way. That way the trash, which is collected on the outer side, will be blowed back away from it. If you blow this way, you're blowing it back into the fibers. You blow this way, keep it out of it. But that does not include, $75 does not include an air filter. I'll replace it if it needs it. If I can clean it, I'll clean it. And one other thing, when the saw leaves my shop, there's two things I do to every saw that leaves my shop. I square and deburr the bar, and I sharpen the chain. I've sharpened chains my whole life, know how to sharpen. I can write you a book on bars and chains, because I've worked with them my entire life. But anyway, I square the bar, deburr it, and I sharpen the chain. Anything else that I run into when I'm working on it that needs done, I will tell the customer these things that needs done to it. We can do it or not. Anywhere, it's entirely up to him. But anyhow, folks, I hope you learned something. I think I'm probably going to do a short on resetting your chain brake, because that is really awesome. A lot of people need to know that. You'd be surprised of the units that come to my shop. They've taken their chain clutch cover off, and then they can't get it back on. What's going on? What's going on? Or they'll put it on worse yet, they'll put it on, try to force it on, try to force the nuts to force it back over on there. You're just causing more problems that way. You're damaging your clutch, your brake band, and possibly scuffing up your clutch, your drum, and all that good stuff. But nah, don't do that. Bring it to me in 5 minutes. I can have it fixed. I probably won't charge you nothing to do it. Okay? You guys have a great evening, and may God bless you, and thank God for everything He does for us, big or small. Amen.